as we make way for Rich Eisen, who had a great seat last night's festivities, and the Yankee fan joins us on the program. Rich, how you feeling?
Our DP, it was a heck of a game last night. That was unbelievable.
Where were your seats?
A buddy of mine has had season tickets right behind home plate, just literally a stone's throw away from Mary Hart. Got the text right around Friday night last week, middle of Game 6 of the ALCS. You want to go to Game 2 of the World Series? I just texted back, I'll be more than happy to help you root against the Astros if you want, because he's a big Dodger fan. Because I was feeling that in the pit of my stomach that the Yankees just weren't going to pull it off somehow, some way. It just felt that way. And but seeing the Astros last night, that was unbelievable. I mean, that home run barrage against a bullpen that had been previously untouched by anybody pretty much in the playoffs. They had that record set of straight zeros that they were hanging up. That was unbelievable. And then how the Dodgers came back, the place was just nuts. I really have not seen anything like that. But that was really incredible. And the Astros proved that this can be a 7-gamer, I think.
What did it sound like with those last 2 home runs by the Astros?
It was dead silent. I mean, absolutely dead silent. You know, you could hear the sound of Correa's bat landing.
Really?
He's thrown it so high. I've never seen anything thrown that high in the air. You could hear pin drop. And then, but the fact, you could say, although the Marwin Gonzalez home run was the biggest shocker because it came off of Jansen, who I think everybody in that building thought was completely untouched. I don't know what your sense of this is, Dan. I hate the 6-out save from your closer. I think that is very risky when you don't have to be, because it puts you in the position of that's your last move. You have the lead in the 8th inning. Why would you make your last best move? And I understand that they did have Altuve up and Correa up in the 8th, and that's when it's time you bring in your closer maybe. But what's your philosophy on that 6-out save?
I get the feeling the 6-out save is like prevent defense in the NFL.
Yes.
Because and baseball players are, they're so tied to their rituals, and it's a pattern, and this is what I do, and when I do it, and how I do it, at what time of the game I do it. Now, all of a sudden, you start to change that, and I know it's not looking back and saying, hey, they made the wrong move by bringing him in. He could have had the 2-inning save, and we would have moved on and not said a thing about it. I like guys being in their rhythm, in their routine, and keeping it that way. And Jansen is the best closer, but I like him as the best closer when he's got to get 3 outs. Give credit to the Astros.
1,000%.
They put the bat on the ball, and when they do, they make things happen. They were the best offense in baseball, and you finally saw that last night in dramatic fashion.
Yeah, and then they're just so young and good with Springer, Correa, and Altuve all going yard like that. But the Dodgers are really deep and really good with a lot of guys that are coming to the fore right now. It was just great to see. It was really just incredible to certainly since you were good, it looked like you were seeing a repeat of the night before, same exact score, same situation where solo home runs were exchanged and then a 2-run shot provided the difference. And then all holy heck broke loose. I've never seen anything like it.
Most famous person sitting around you was?
Well, I guess Oscar De La Hoya was right around to the left.
Mm-hmm.
Beyond that was Sandy Koufax sitting right in front of Magic Johnson. That was pretty neat to see, like Los Angeles sports icons. I think Magic left to go to see Lonzo versus John Wall towards the end. I don't think he stuck for the whole thing. But I know you've got Larry King on tomorrow, and I'm sure you saw that too. He didn't budge. He stayed the whole thing.
Yeah, I love that.
The whole thing.
And he eats the whole game. He does.
See, now it's the problem with those seats. At least the seats that I was in are off camera most of the time. I guess I strayed in towards the end. But that's got to be tough. You got to be careful that whole time that you're on watching the game. And I wouldn't want that.
He's Rich Eisen, NFL Network host of the Rich Eisen Show. Tonight, it's the Ravens and the Dolphins. I want to talk to you about Cam Newton's press conference yesterday. And two-a-days, if we could play the final exchange between Cam and the media from yesterday, and then we'll get Rich's take on that.
And big plays, big chunk plays kind of get to that energy I think that you're talking about. Does this offense, and I know you had several at Detroit and New England, do you think you guys have the wherewithal to do that consistently week in and week out?
Next question.
You probably get.
Where do we stand on things here, Rich?
Well, I just think that we're all waiting for Cam to stand there like he's the CEO of the Carolina Panthers and answer all questions, regardless of whether he feels they have value or not. That question right there was a yes or no question. Where, what do you want him to answer? No, yeah. I don't think we're going to be consistent enough to have big chunk plays. Next, why would you ask the quarterback? Now, there is some legitimacy within the question, which is that they do have an issue being a consistent offensive team. Now, how you pose the question to a quarterback of that team is I guess, in a manner, make sure that you get the answer you're eliciting. But so in that specific question, what do you want him to say now? But if we're waiting for him to be the CEO answering all questions regardless of them, and I don't think we're ever going to see that from Cam. We saw it in the beginning of his career where Steve Smith had to talk to him about his body language on the sideline and at the podium. We saw it after the Super Bowl. We've seen it now twice this year, once where he made a mess of the situation himself, and now another where at the end of 9 minutes he walks off, and you're not going to see the team criticize him from a public relations standpoint. They're going to back his play, because he's Cam and he's the leader of the team. So as long as we just expect that we're not going to get what we assume is a CEO-type performance from him at the podium, I think he is who he is, to use the NFL phrase.
Yeah, it's different in what we expect from a quarterback. A coach, Bill Parcells or Bill Belichick, they could get up there and whatever they said or didn't say, Greg Popovich. With a quarterback, it's different because I feel like a quarterback has a brand that they're always selling something, and Cam does endorsements. Brady's doing endorsement. Breeze, Rodgers, they're all up there. Russell Wilson. You have an opportunity to use it. And granted, there are questions you're not going to like, but part of that is you got to fend that off and move on, and it's 10, 12, 15 minutes of your week. Get through it, slug through it, and then move on. But when you're going to roll your eyes, now the media can't wait for the next time around. So if you didn't like this, now they're coming back.
Yeah, the issue is, I guess, Dan, and with him in particular, is that we watch him celebrate his touchdowns, yep. And then 2 years ago is obviously when that was the apex of all of that. So in the media now, if he can't take the moments, whether they're heat or not, and the times when they're not succeeding, then you get caught in that riptide of, okay, so we cover you when you're excited, but you don't like it when we cover you when you're not. And that's a tough place to be when you're an athlete, let alone a high-profile one like Cam. And so, look, I think you just have to come, unfortunately, to expect it. If I'm running a team, I prefer not to have that issue at the podium with my quarterback, but I don't know how they're handling it, or if it needs to be handled, or who would be the one to do it, quite frankly.
You got the game tonight. I feel like this is spotlight on Joe Flacco. Like, where have you gone, Joe Flacco? We're not asking that question anymore. Is Joe Flacco an elite quarterback? Matt Moore, I liked him more than I did Jay Cutler. I wouldn't have gone out to get Cutler in the first place, but this feels like it's a Flacco moment tonight, good or bad. Your thoughts on tonight's matchup?
Obviously things do always fall on the quarterback, but just take a look at the rosters in terms of the offense and in terms of the play calling, yeah. and it's just not even close. The Dolphins are so far and away better at the skilled positions than the Ravens, where they're still waiting for Macklin to stay healthy long enough to see what he can do. And then the same with Perriman. The running backs group, Danny Woodhead going down early in the season obviously didn't help. But when you look around the rest of the league and looking at dynamic offenses and who has them, the Dolphins are one of them for sure, and the Ravens just aren't. So I don't know how you're going to be point for point with anybody, regardless of who the quarterback is, based on who the Ravens are putting out on the field offensively, quite frankly. And, you know, Flacco did look really good in Oakland a couple of weeks ago. Other than that, we really haven't seen much of a flash of anything. They did start 2-0, but other than that, I think this is clearly the Steelers' division.
Yeah,
and we'll see how the Dolphins can throw their hat in the ring with the Patriots and the Bills, who can't be discounted. That Bills-Raiders game is a big Week 8 as well. So I don't know if it's as much Flacco as it is who they're putting out there for Flacco to throw to.
He's Rich Eisen, NFL Network host. Tonight, Dolphins and the Ravens, and, of course, host of The Rich Eisen Show. And did your producer catch a foul ball last night?
Our audio executive, as he likes to be called, Mike Del Tufo, he did, in fact, catch one and then got a selfie with him and the foul ball with Peyton Manning. I mean, that might be the greatest performance of Game 2, to be honest with you, Dan. I know what we saw on the field last night, but catching a foul ball and then having a selfie with Peyton, that's a good one.
Yes, Paulie.
Rich, a question from the Danettes. If you were behind home plate and you knew you were on camera and you caught a foul ball, would you look to give it to the nearest kid?
Of course.
Nice.
Come on, Paul. That's sort of like the question, like I almost eye-rolled at the next question.
You almost went Cam Newton on it.
Rich, I knew.
How am I supposed to answer that?
I'm complimenting you because I think a lot of people would not, because catching a foul ball is a really big moment for people. You're a smart guy. You know perception's big.
I am. I do. Look, I know it's an optics world, 21st century. I understand.
You know what I would do, though? In a situation like that, I would know I'm on camera. I would let the little boy look at it. And then after the camera's off, I would grab it. I would just say, "Here, look at that. That's a foul ball."
You never
there.
know when the eye. You never know when the eye in the sky is looking at you. You never know. But while we're doing housekeeping, I know you're probably up against a break anyway.
Yes.
Did you cancel the Van Talk? Did you cancel the Barstool?
No, that was not me. I was collateral damage. That was
You're not the cooler. You're not the cooler.
No,
I mean,
no. That was. I enjoyed it, and I'm sorry that I was the last episode of Barstool Van Talks. Did you?
Now, would you rather be the first? Would you rather have been the first initial guest to have aired at all?
No. I'm going to be the last one.
Would you rather been what you were?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. This is
the
big.
lost episode.
Yes.
Of the lost episode.
There will be a 30 for 30 on Barstool Van Talks coming up. Thank you, Rich.
Take care, DC.
That's Rich Eisen.
For more Dan Patrick Show, tune to Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV or download the Dan Patrick Show app.